If you want to find out how the oil flows through your suspension and how the clickers work, let's go listen to Steve Piattoni and see how it works.
Okay, we're going to do some talking about how your clickers work and how the oil flows through your forks and your shock. Okay, first of all, this is your dampening rod, and this is your mid-speed valving and your rebound adjustment and your rebound valving. Now, what a lot of people don't know is when you adjust your rebound valving, your rebound clicker, it affects your initial compression, because you can watch when I blow through this that you can see it flows both ways. So the oil flows both ways. So yes, it affects rebound, probably not as much as you would think. I think it affects the low speed compression more than it actually affects the rebound. Okay, as I was explaining, when you hit a bump, this goes like this. Oil flows through here and through the mid-speed valve. This bottom rebound clicker, which controls the needle up in here, also controls initial compression. Just very, very light initial compression. So if you want your bike to settle a little bit more in a corner, you can open up the rebound. It'll let a little bit of more oil flow through there. Or if you want it to stand up a little bit better, you can close the rebound clicker and it adds more initial low speed compression. Okay, this is your compression valving. And obviously it's got a pressure spring here, a floating piston here. This is your compression valve stack, and this is your compression clicker. So your clicker, the oil flows through that hole and out here. This one actually has another little valve stack under that plate, which is like a low speed valve. So this adjustment right here adjusts the needle that adjusts the flow through that, which also makes it softer or firmer, dive more or less. So what happens? The forks are not position sensitive, they're velocity sensitive. So it doesn't really matter if it's the initial part of the stroke, the middle of the stroke. If the fork is still, wherever it is, and then you hit something, before it sees any compression valving at all or any compression clicker at all, this moves. So when this moves, it's going to flow oil through that rebound clicker, which is going to affect initial compression, and it's going to use your mid-speed valve. That's why mid-speed valving is important. You know, sometimes you want to firm the mid-speed up if you want more hold up, or loosen it up for like off-road where you want it to soak up the little chop a little better. So that's part of the valving, but your clicker also will do that initial movement also. Okay, and a lot of people don't know that. They don't know that this rebound clicker affects initial compression. It's a very good adjustment, especially if you're going on a real hard choppy track. You can back this out a little bit and it'll soak up the little chop better. Or if you want more hold up or less hold up, this will control that. Now, when this comes into play, the compression dampening, which is up in here, you got your compression valving and you also have your compression adjuster. So when this comes into play, when this goes into this cartridge, the area of the dampening rod displaces the oil, and then it displaces it through the compression clicker and through the compression valving. So the first initial reaction you get is mid-speed valving and the rebound clicker. Then as this displaces oil, then it displaces it through the compression clicker and the compression valving. Okay, now to the shock. It works very similar to the fork. And same thing, the rebound clicker, which is right here, definitely as it flows through here and out this hole, it flows both directions unless you have a check plate, which they do make a check plate, which makes it only flow one way. But in stock form, this bike, it flows on compression and rebound. So this will affect initial compression. And then you got the compression valving, rebound valving, same thing. As this goes into the body, it displaces the oil up through your compression adjuster. You have your low speed adjuster and your high speed adjuster. Okay, when the oil gets displaced up through here, you can see the hole for the low speed compression is very small. So this needle, when you turn the low speed in, it adjusts that. So it's a very small adjustment. And then you can see the high speed has a bunch of holes, big holes with a valve stack, and when you turn this, it applies a spring pressure to that valve stack. So obviously, if you get the high speed too far out, which a lot of people tend to want to do, the oil is going to take the path of least resistance. It's just going to blow through the high speed and blow through the stroke. So it's a fine line between low speed and high speed, and you don't want, you got to find that fine line between where you have your high speed set and where you have your low speed set.